Hello, lovely people. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kadisha, and over here I do lifestyle vlogs and faith-based content. So if that is something that you are interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for your girl, and feel free to like this video, leave a comment below just so you can engage with my content and help the algorithm to boost my videos. Yeah. All right. So as you can see from the title, today we will be looking at how to create your prayer board. I chose to do a prayer board this year instead of a vision board because I am actively trying to deepen my walk with God. And I do believe that a prayer board is one way that I can do that. So I'm dedicating not only a day, but an entire year to God. All right. So on this prayer board, let me show it to y'all. This is it. Yes. So I have lots and lots of different categories that I chose to do. So we went with like financial, health, travel. We went personal, social, that kind of thing, spiritual. And, the prayer board is basically something that you can customize, right? So if you don't have like the same goals, like categories, you can change it up, right? So I've seen people do, different things and it all works out at the end, right? So basically, whatever your life goals are, you would just put that as the heading and run with it. All right, so I'm gonna show you how we basically started this. I started this project with my friend, my girl Chanel. Hey Chanel. I absolutely love this girl. She is really amazing. So I'm going to show you guys like how we started it and how we got into, the creative process and all of that. All right. But before we do that, I just want to encourage you that if this year you are looking to deepen your walk with God, if this year you are looking to dedicate areas of your life to God, I highly recommend doing a prayer board. All right. So for each segment, I did go through and, write various scriptures on it that really speak to my life this entire year. And like one of the mantras and primary focus scriptures of my entire life is Romans 8:28, where I believe that all things work together for my good because I love the Lord, right? Additionally, I also believe very strongly in Jeremiah 29 verse 11 that God has plans for my life, and because of those plans that God has for my life, I know I'm taking hold of those promises that He has bestowed upon us, So I encourage you to do the same. I encourage you to write down your prayers for each section. All right, pray about it before you start. All right, because it is important to remember that this isn't about us. This isn't about me. This isn't about you. This is about God. All right, and keeping Him at the center of it all. And sometimes during the year, we set these goals and we don't put God at the center of it, right? And we just expect God to do every little thing that we want Him to do, but we had not put Him in the center. We didn't include Him in our plans beforehand, right? And sometimes I find that like those are the plans that fail. They are going to fail because what? God is not in the center. So this year we are putting God where? In the center. Where did I say? In the center. Okay, we're putting God right in the center of every aspect of my life, from spiritual to financial to health. Y'all saw it. We're gonna do it all. All right. So with that said, let's get into the video. So for our supplies, we went with envelopes, index cards. We also went with letters in various sizes, stick glue, and we went with butterflies as our decorative pieces. And of course, you cannot forget your board. We went with foam boards as these were a cheaper option from Fontana, Montego Bay. Up next, we definitely decided to pray over our boards. As I mentioned, we wanted to dedicate this entire process to the Lord, and then we got to discussing what we wanted to do for our designs. I highly recommend doing this with someone because it was so much fun. So we did decide to cover the orange on our foam boards and to go with a white cartridge paper, as I thought this would give us a more chic, a more modern, and a more luxury feel to it, which is exactly what I was going for. So yeah, that's what we did to get it from orange looking to white. So up next, we basically cut out all our shapes that we wanted to place as our heading. I did play around with the design before pasting them down because once it's down, it is down. All right, Chanel did get into her creative side, and this was so cool that she did almost like a clip art type of thing where she just used the outline of the letters for every other one, and it came out like it was so cute. I absolutely loved it. I went with like a jagged type of design, and I absolutely love mine as well. So this is something that you can definitely get into your creative side with and just play around with it. And trust me, like when you do it with someone, it's like almost 10 times better. Okay, so I then used the smaller letters for the heading of my envelopes. I thought this idea was brilliant personally because I love uniformity and I love neatness. Mind you, this I think does take a little bit more time, but if you want a uniform look, then I think this would really work for you. All right, so I did. You just paste them on. The beauty about these letters in particular though is that you could remove them, because I removed them like several times because I made mistakes, and I just removed them and pasted them back on. All right, so you can get these letters, as I said, from Fontana. That's exactly where we got ours, and these came out so perfect. Like, absolutely loved it. So we then went ahead and pasted our envelopes down onto our boards. But before I pasted them on, I was sure to test the design out first. All right, so I think that's really important. Go with a design that you know you can, if you want to place like words on your board, that will accommodate that. So that's exactly what I did before pasting it down, because as I said before, once it's down, if you try to remove it, especially if you use like stick glue, it is going to damage your board. All right, and then for the fun part, we got into just pasting our butterflies on. I absolutely loved the butterflies. They came out so cute. So feel free to use whatever decorative element that you want to use. Chanel just showing us her board. She was really happy with how it came out, and so was I. We really just had a great time doing these boards. So this is how our boards came out for that night. Unfortunately, we did not get to totally finish everything because it was getting pretty late. So we did end off here for the night, but I will continue to show you guys how I completed the board on my own. So fortunately or unfortunately, I did not finish this the next day as I had hoped, because life did a life. So I finished this almost a whole 2 weeks later, but we moved. All right, so our next step is basically to place on the scriptures that I wanted to go onto the board itself. I decided to cut the index cards and to write my scripture verses on there instead of writing it directly onto my board, because I wanted to maintain some level of uniformity and neatness throughout, right? And I didn't have to guess about how my lines were going to be leaning left, right, and center. So this helps me to just, keep things nice and simple and tidy and neat. So yeah. So here I'm just showing you guys the verses that I used for each category. I used 3 John 1 verse 2 for health. I then used Psalm 121 verse 8 for my travel plans for this year. I then used Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 for my financial goals. I used Ephesians 4 verse 2 to 3 for my relationships and just building them and keeping them firm in the Lord. I then used Hebrews 11 verse 6 for my spiritual journey. And last but by no means least, I used Proverbs 3 verse 5 to 6 for my personal and social goals for this year. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. You can always switch these verses up. You can use whatever verses that apply to your life, your journey, where you are right now spiritually, and you can just make this your own, make it fun, make it interesting. It can be quite time consuming, so I do hope to like repurpose this same board like for many years to come. I'm kind of really happy now looking back that I did not write 2025 on the board itself, because I actually, think that I could just use this template and just change the pairs as the year goes by or the years go by and stuff like that. Last but by no means least, I did go ahead and write the most important part, which were the pairs, right? So, of course, this part is very personal to you. So, feel free to just have a moment with God, talk to God. You don't have to do them all at once. I certainly did not. It took me quite some time to complete them, but I believe that this race is not for the swift, but for those who can endure it to the end. So this is the final product. I was absolutely in love. I'm still in love with how this came out. It is so me. It's so simple, but so, cute at the same time, which is exactly what I was going for with this. All right, so feel free to do a little razzle dazzle, make it your own, okay? So if you have made it to the end of today's video, I just want to thank you immensely for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this video with someone who may want to make their own prayer board for this year. I do know that I'm a bit late for this year, but that's okay, all right? I promise y'all that for next year, we will be on time, okay? But these are great ideas that I put forth, and I do hope that you'll use some of them. And if you do, feel free to tag me over on Instagram and, let me know in the comment section below what your prayer board looks like. Did you do a prayer board for this year? Let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, I will see you in the next one, okay? Yeah, so bye!